Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another end of the week Sabbath class. I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Leonidas. Brother Ezekiel.
And we are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. Hey, and welcome, welcome, welcome as always. And before we get started, we want to give our honor, glory, and praise to Yahawah by Sham, Yahawahshi. Yahawah being the Heavenly Father, Yahawahshi being the Son, who the world calls Christ in the Paleo Hebrew. And as always, it's an honor and privilege to come before you each and every week to give you another edifying lesson. Today is no different. You know what I'm saying? And I want to give a shout out to you brothers and sisters who are tuning in. Those who will tune in, hey, keep doing what you're doing because you ain't have to be here tonight. But the Lord put it on our spirit to teach. So we appreciate everybody tuning in and for those who are going to get this message. And tonight's class is called Destruction to the Well-Favored Harlot, the Mistress of Witchcrafts. Destruction to the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts. All right. So what we're going to do is go into the book of Nahum tonight, and we're going to dive into it because the well-favored harlot is something that a lot of people might not know about. But she's also a mistress of witchcrafts, and we're going to dive into it tonight. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be an entertaining class, edifying class nonetheless. So make sure that you're following along. Make sure that you're taking notes. You know what I'm saying? And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe, share the content, because our brothers and sisters got to understand this knowledge. They got to experience it. They have to learn so that we can learn more, do better than we have in time past, you know. So make sure that you're following along. Don't just sit there and nod your head and just watch it and say, yeah, that's pretty good. Take notes so you can go back and refer to this information later on. All right. So what we want to do now is open up with the book of Ezekiel, chapter 12, verse 26.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 12, verse 26. Again, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say the vision that he seeth is not for many days to come. And he prophesieth of the times that are far off. Therefore, say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, there shall be none of my words be prolonged before, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith the Lord God.
All right, so we brought this out to show you or to explain to our brothers and sisters, though we have read prophecy that has not been fulfilled in the Old Testament, don't think that the words of the Most High are in vain or in void. You know what I'm saying? What he speaks shall be done. You know what I'm saying? Even though, you know, you say, hey, we heard about this a long time ago, we ain't seen these things. But all you have to do is pay attention to the signs of the times or the things that are actually going on in this world right now. You will see that prophecy is being fulfilled on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? And the title of this class, like I said, destruction of this well-favored harlot, which is Babylon the Great, which is this system that we living in. A destruction is coming. You know what I'm saying? But the vision he seeth is for many days to come. And he prophesied of the times that are far off. So this is the book of Ezekiel. So when he was prophesying these things, the things that he was speaking about wasn't coming true or wasn't coming to pass at that time and era. You know, but the Lord said, therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, there shall none of my words be prolonged anymore. but the word which I have spoken shall be done. Thus saith the Lord. So the things that the Lord speak, they will be done. Keep that in mind. And just to prove that, let's go to Genesis chapter 15. Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 15 right quick. Book of Genesis chapter 15, we're going to start at verse 12 and read to 14.
Book of Genesis chapter 15 and verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him.
Read.
And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
So this is prophetic right here. He was speaking to Abraham because Abraham was asking the Lord, hey, Lord, I'm getting old in age. I ain't got nobody to pass on to, no heir to pass on my knowledge to, my wisdom, my riches. I don't have nobody to pass this down to. So the Lord was assuring Abraham, hey, you will have a seed, and through that seed, that seed will be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Now, this is a constant reoccurring thing right there. Read on.
Verse 14. And also the nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance.
All right, you see it? So it says, and also that nation, meaning that land where we would be sent to, the seed of Abraham, who we would serve, the Lord said, will I judge? And afterwards shall they, meaning the children of Israel, or the seed of Abraham, shall come out with great substance. This is prophetic right here. You know, Abraham didn't have a child at the time, but he was telling Abraham what was going to happen in the future. And that came to pass when we as a nation, the Israelites, were in Egypt serving the Egyptians, you know, and again and again and again throughout history, you know, serving in these strange lands that was not ours. And the Lord judged them every time they had us in captivity. So here we are in the future, 2024. Here we are in a strange land that is not ours, serving our enemy. And we've been here over 400 years. You don't think the Lord is going to judge them? What has been will be. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes right quick. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. What has been shall be. As my pops used to say growing up, there's nothing new under the sun. So what happened in Egypt is going to happen to modern day Egypt, all right, which is Babylon the Great, or United Snakes, as you know it. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9.
This is Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which it shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
There is no new thing under the sun, you know. Murder been since the beginning of time, you know, robbery, witchcraft, you know, all of these things, adultery has been since the beginning of time, you know. But the Lord said the thing that have been, so what we were reading about in Genesis, we were in captivity in a strange land, is that which shall be. This is the same thing we going through right now as a nation of people. And that which is done is that which shall be done. We were delivered from the hand of our enemies by the hand of the Lord, just like we will be delivered from our enemies by the hand of the Lord in this last captivity. And there is no new thing under the sun. So this is why we have to study the scriptures to realize what's actually going on and how to prepare our mindsets for the future. All right. Knowing that the things that have happened in times of old will happen again. So this is why we have to read to be better equipped for the future. All right. So let's jump to the book of Nahum right quick. Nahum chapter 3. Let's dive right into it. Let's get into this class. Like I said, I appreciate you brothers and sisters tuning in, and pray that you taking notes and that this message resonates with you. All right. Book of Nahum. Let's go to chapter 3 and let's start at verse 1.
The book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. It is.
Hold on, King. Hold on
Okay.
right quick. All right, start it over again.
Book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full.
Go ahead.
It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departed. Verse 2. The noise of a whip.
It said, woe to the bloody city. Talking about this system, Babylon, that is spread all over the world, but more importantly, it's going into America. Woe to the bloody city who has built its empire, its economy, its everything off the backs of the Israelites, off the blood, sweat, and tears of the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Lord is saying, woe, meaning destruction to the bloody city, which is full of lies. This is what you would consider to be the land of the lies, or the lies of the land, where they tell you things like all men are created equal, or that this is the home of the brave. You know what I'm saying? For that quid pro quo factor, where that's this for that, you know. That's what this landmass is all about. But they say America is the land of the free. Where nothing is free here, not even death. You know, read on.
Verse 2. The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and the prancing horses and of jumping chariots.
See that?
Verse 3.
So it's talking about this land with the sound of the whip. That's the cracking of the whip. That's what we hear, what we feel here. You know, we still getting that whip cracked on our backs today. You know, punching that clock, paying these bills, being enslaved to debt. You know, trying to make it in this society. You know what I'm saying? Not realizing the things that we went through. Say you're gonna hear the sounds of the whip, the horses. Read that part again.
Verse 2. The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of
the prancing of horses. When we trying to get away, you know, back in the day, they was hunting us down. We trying to run from the plantation. We hearing the horses coming after us. They're like you see in this picture, brother down here at the bottom. He in the tree running. They done caught him. Got him cornered in the tree. This is recently right here at the top left, where our brothers was down there on the border of Texas trying to get in. They down there whipping them, trying to lasso them like they at a damn rodeo, you know, trying to keep them out of the border. Read on.
Verse 3. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpse. They stumble upon their corpses.
So it's talking about the bright sword, the Civil War, when they going to war against us. You know, they got the shiny sword, the gun. They got the RPGs. They got their missiles, the glittering sword or arrow,
right,
that they cause destruction with. This is all prophetic that the Lord was speaking about in the book of Nahum. It said the corpse, these people, this system, America, goes around the world inflicting pain, chaos, tragedy all around the world, stealing, killing, and destroying. Whereas corpse laid everywhere, where they stumbling over these things. Diseases constantly coming out that these people are creating in labs. where they having graves, where they got bodies filling the graves, mass graves, just murdering, following them everywhere that they go. You know? Read on.
Hey, can I bring something out right fast?
Go ahead.
And to the people who listen to the class, y'all have to remember, back in those days, the prophets didn't know nothing about an RPG and missiles. They didn't know those names and terms. So when you read when he said a glittering spear or a bright sword, that's the best way that they could describe what they saw.
Right.
Back then. So you have to break it down and understand what they're talking about when they say those type words. They didn't know to say a missile or a RPG. They just described how they saw it. But you can imagine
right.
a glittering sword, something like that. But you got it.
That's right. Read verse 3 again. It said, the horseman lift up both the bright sword and the glittering spear. He lifting it up. That's what you see on the screen right there. The sword, the guns. These are the things that they overcame our people with. We weren't blessed with that, you know, with RPGs, as the brother bringing out, tanks, missiles, aircrafts, and jets, submarines. We weren't blessed with that. That was Esau's blessing, to rule with the sword. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just like it speaks in Revelation, he was there individual on that pale horse where death and hell followed, paraphrasing greatly. You know, everywhere this man goes in the world, that's the trail that he leaves behind. You know, so you know that it's him that's actually doing what it is that he does. Just like that story, Hansel and Gretel. You know, when they got lost, they left breadcrumbs. Just like your kids leave shoes around the house, clothes, paper, trash all around the house. You know exactly where they've been just by the stuff that they leave. You know. But read verse 4.
Verse 4. Because of the multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft.
See, that's what we're getting into today, talking about Babylon. But in this chapter, it was talking about Nineveh, which was a city in during the Assyrian captivity that we were in. But it also goes into talking about Babylon as well, because when you read in the scriptures, you'll read that words or scriptures have double meaning, double and triple meanings, you know. And what's written in this scripture is actually prophetic, you know. And we'll prove that later on. But read on.
All right. Verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nation thy nakedness and the kingdom thy shame.
Lord said, I am against thee. He was against Nineveh. That's why he sent Jonah in there to prophesy against them, to warn them, just like he is against Babylon the Great. And he's sending the prophets in there to, just like in times of old, to prophesy against Babylon and many other kingdoms. All right. And he said, he's going to discover thy skirts upon thy face. The Lord said, I'm going to lift your skirt up and I'm going to show your nakedness. I'm going to expose you. That's what he's talking about to this nation or to this system that we live in right now. And he said, I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. Because right now, Babylon the Great, they try to present themselves as a chaste lady, a woman of respect, a woman of renown, somebody who should be treated with the utmost respect. But the Lord is saying, why are you trying to present yourself in that fashion? You actually the complete opposite. And I'm going to expose you. And I'm going to show everybody how wicked and how foul you truly are. All right. So from there, bear with me right quick.
Let me bring our script right fast.
Go ahead, King.
This is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. And it says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. And we have to realize that's what America has done, establish a city by iniquity. And the Most High said, woe to him, meaning destruction. So we have to realize we might think it's all fine and dandy right now, but the Most High has promised destruction to America.
That's right.
You got it.
So what we're gonna do now is go to that's a good point too, King. Let's go to get the definition of what a whoredom is. Because when you read in Nahum chapter 3, verse 4, it says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. What is whoredom? You know, we got a sense of what it means here in Babylon the Great, but what does it actually mean? Let's go into it. Whoredom, the practice of whoring, prostitution. That's what we all know it to be. But let's get to the second version. It says faithless, unworthy, or idolatrous practices or pursuits. That is exactly what is going on here in this society right now. Are they not banning the Bible? Do they not have 101 different religions, you know, and do all manner of wickedness at the same time? They doing faithless, unworthy, and idolatrous acts. Everybody worshiping white Jesus when there's no documentation as to that being in the scriptures, no historical documents or places in time where that actually happened. You know, idolatrous practice. They walking around a cobblestone, kissing it, bowing down to it, praising and worshiping Santa Claus, Cupids, you know, Christopher Columbus. Say that again, King.
They're worshiping the cross thing made out of wood and stone. They do that, and we were taught this.
Exactly. So whoredom actually it's a form of prostitution because they'll do anything for money. At the end of the day, they're doing all this for money. You know, they lie to you in the church for money. They got that quid pro quo mindset, that this for that. You come in, I give you a feel-good speech, you pay me some money for it. You pay me some money, I give you good entertainment, you know? So that's what whoredom actually goes into, you know? And it says that Babylon or Nineveh has a multitude of these different whoredoms that they prescribe to the world, especially to our people. All right. Let's go to get it. Let me see. Let me look at the etymology of the word harlot. Let's look at the word harlot right quick. It says prostitute, unchaste woman, a strumpet, a whore. All right. Let's go on down a little bit. Harlotry. It says loose, crude, or obscene behavior, sexual immorality, ribbit talk, or jesting. Is that not what we see here in Babylon the Great? Loose, crude, and obscene behavior. You got men walking around trying to be more feminine than the women. You know, they going out their way to put the fingernails on, the eyelashes, the glitter on their face, the wigs on their head. You know, they passing laws here where men can lay down with men, men can marry men, marry their pets, marry their kids. This is a wicked society that we live in. And that's what this harlotry or that harlot is going into. Sexual immorality, obscene behavior, you know. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 55, right quick. The book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 19. And we're going to read that at 21. Psalms 55, verse 19.
Psalms 55, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Yahawah shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Selah, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not Yahawah.
The reason why this land is full of a multitude of whoredoms and harlotry is because they don't fear the Lord. It said they have no changes, therefore they fear no God, not God. They ain't making no changes. Ain't nothing happening to them, so they don't fear the Lord. That's why they continue on in the wickedness that they do day in and day out. Keep passing more wicked laws because they ain't being judged right now. Read on.
He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The
This is
words of
talking
his
about
mouth.
Esau. Esau does not keep his covenant at all with anybody. Just look through his track record. Look back throughout history. He don't keep his covenants with anybody. He always makes laws with loopholes or back doors in it so he can double back and be able to get out of whatever it is that he tries to put in place. See, you can look through history. Look at what he did to the so-called Native American Indians. Made treaties with them, backdoored them, end up killing them, slaughtering them, just like he did all around the world. All these so-called peace treaties that he came up with, he backdoored his way out to do what he wanted to do, to mislead the masses, you know. He don't keep his covenants. Even at your jobs today, they promise you this, promise you that. They don't keep no covenants, no agreements. They always find a way to break what it is that they put in place. That's why the Lord say, never trust thine enemy. But they have convinced us through the multitude of their harlot or whoredoms and harlotry. They have convinced us to believe in them, to trust in them. We believe everything that they say, and I'm going to prove that to you later on. Read on.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
So, like I said, this individual, this system, they don't keep their covenants, but they talk a good game. They had a smooth face with the slick and smooth words, you know, and present themselves to be holy, to be likable, crafty, you know what I'm saying? But they never keep their word. And even when they give you word or an agreement, they always have another agenda in mind when they agree to something, you know? Just like when they came over here once again to deal with the Native American or Gad or Reuben or our brothers and sisters of Northern Kingdom on this side of the world. They came over here with the intention, smiling in their face, shaking hands, humbling themselves, saying, teach me, take care of me, show me the way. But their whole intention was to come over here and take the land and the resources and enslave them.
Right.
But they came off as humble, peaceful, weak, you know, don't know nothing until they learned what they needed to learn. And then they stood up in their place and found their weaknesses and overcame them, came us, you know.
Right.
So even though they speak smooth words, guess what? They got a hidden agenda. And we as a nation of people have to be mindful of these things. They still doing it today. Even though they put the nice, flashy things on the TV, understand Esau, Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, always has a hidden agenda. They're not showing you these shows just to entertain you. They're showing you these shows to entertain you while manipulating your mind at the same time. Through the music, through the foods that you eat, through the educational system that you go to and pay for. They doing it at all aspects of life. Think about that.
Hey,
from there, go ahead, Ken.
Typically, what we see in the most recent of events now, we can't forget that's the procedure they use in elections. You know, with both candidates. They typically they don't tell you that they usually already have financially bonded agreements with different people who are putting them in place to get certain things done. But that's not aforementioned knowledge. So they'll promise say anything they can to the general public to win over whoever they need to win over. And once they get in, you find out the things that they promised weren't true. You see that time and again.
Right. So that's a good point, though, Ken. They constantly doing that. What they call it, shaking hands and kissing babies, man. All right. Now what I want to do is go into the mistress aspect of it. You know, when we were reading Nahum chapter 3, verse 4, it says the mistress of witchcraft. Let's go find out what a mistress is. All right. It says mistress, a woman who has power, authority, or ownership, such as the female head of a household, a woman who employs or supervises servants. See that? A woman who possesses, owns, or controls something. A woman who is in charge of a school or other establishment, a head mistress. A woman of the Scottish nobility having a status comparable to that of a master. All right. Other terms, you will have a concubine or the other woman, a doxy. Never heard that term before, but a woman who has power, authority, or ownership. So when it was saying the mistress of witchcraft, this individual or this system serves in a position just like a mistress who has power, authority, or ownership. All right. Let's see, for instance, bear with me. All right. Let's go to the book of Revelation chapter 17 right quick. I'm going to come out and come right back in. Bear with me, Israel.
Oh, he said he came out and came back in.
All right, let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 1. We're going to read 1 and 2 right quick.
All right. The book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
So it was talking about Babylon right here. We're going to get into that as well. But he said, I'm going to show you a vision of the great whore, the harlot, that sits upon many waters. Read.
Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
So it was saying, with the kings of whom the earth committed fornication. Is that not what a prostitute does, a harlot does? You know what I'm saying? Entice men and get them tipsy, get them drunk, buzzing, whatever the case, have sex with them, whatnot. And it's the same thing, just like Babylon the Great has done. Gotten in bed with these other nations, the kings of the earth, or these other nations, and it says have committed fornication. That goes back to those different whoredoms that we were talking about earlier. All those different religions, all those different beliefs and policies that they are in bed with these other nations with. Fornication. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. They believing in this woman. They believing in what she teaches and what she's about. So they have become drunken, mad with her policies and the ways that she presents to them. This is why Christmas can be found in China right now. They celebrating Christmas in Australia, Christmas in Russia, Christmas in South America. She has gotten the kings of the earth drunken with her traditions and customs and policies. All right. Jump down to verse 15.
All right. Verse 15. And he said unto me, the water which thou sawest.
Zeke, you done froze up. Read that, brother Leonidas. Come back in, go out and come back in, Zeke. Your mic on mute, King. Revelation chapter 17, verse 15.
Can you hear me? Sound shit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is Revelation verse 17, chapter 17, verse 15. And he saith unto me, the water which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which
Hold
thou
on.
sawest.
Hold on. Let me get that right quick. All right. It says, Revelation chapter 17, verse 15, and he saith unto me, the waters. This is the same waters that we were speaking about in verse 1. The whore that sit upon many waters. So it's letting you know in verse 15 what the waters are. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So that's a similitude right there when you read the book of Revelation. It's not exactly what you read it to be. You know, when it's talking about a dragon, it's not talking about a literal dragon. You know, the beast with 7 heads. It's not talking about an actual beast. It's talking about a system, you know. And when it's talking about the harlot, the whore, it's not talking about an actual woman, but it's talking about America who portrays herself to be in the fashion of a woman or a harlot, you know. So it says, and he saith unto me, meaning the angel speaking unto John the Revelator, saying, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And that's what you would see all around the world, where America has embassies or U.S. embassies in everybody's country, where their military is able to infiltrate into everybody's country. They got, like I said, garrisons is what you will read in the scriptures, but they have today U.S. embassies in everybody's country. They sit upon everybody's landmass, the different nations, the peoples. That's what it means, the waters. So understand that when you read throughout the scriptures, everything is not exactly what you read it to be. When it's talking about trees, the cedars, the fir trees, it's talking about people. You know what I'm saying? When it's talking about the seas, it's talking about peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. You know? So I just want to show that right quick. Jump to verse 18.
Verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city.
You see that? Read.
Which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
And the woman, meaning that harlot, which thou sawest is that great city, talking about Babylon, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Now, what did we just read about a mistress? A woman who has power, authority, or ownership. A woman who has power, authority, or ownership. Scripture said, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth, meaning rules over the kings of the earth. How does she rule over them? With the multitudes of her harlotry, of her whoredoms, through her policies, through her military, through her riches, through her witchcrafts. Understand that. She has made these other kings of the nations drunken with the wine that she presents to them, with the knowledge, the doctrine that she presents to them. Think about that. All right. Y'all brother got anything y'all want to add? All right.
I just want to go back to when you were saying how, you know, she put her custom, the thing she does over here. Another thing what she does is spread that gay pride. Because it's countries that do that now that didn't do that back then. And they have been influenced by America.
All right.
We one of the first countries that really accepted that with open arms. And that one of the first countries that celebrate people who take their route and go and punish the people who don't take their route. And other countries follow suit.
That's
trying to be like America. But you got it.
All right. So now we want to get a definition as to what the witchcraft actually means, because it says the mistress of witchcraft. All right. So what is actually witchcraft? It says the use of sorcery or magic. These are the things that they use here in Babylon the Great, that they used in ancient Babylon. I mean, ancient Babylon and in ancient Egypt. That's why the Lord said this place is called spiritually Sodom and Egypt. One of the reasons. All right. Another form of witchcraft is communication with the devil or with a familiar spirit. An irresistible influence or fascination. Rituals and practices that incorporate belief in magic and that are associated especially with neo-pagan traditions and religions, such as Wicca. All right. So an irresistible influence or fascination. Irresistible. What do we see today that's very popular? Everybody, or you got these famous magicians, you know what I'm saying? Like David Blaine, Houdini. Those are just two that popped on top of my head. But they have an irresistible influence or fascination through witchcraft that incites the mindsets of our people. You know, with some of the little card trick, pick any card, I can guess what it is. Or I can change this card and you will never see how I did it. These are the things that America or Babylon, this system does over us and over these kings of the other nations, you know, through irresistible influence. Like I was speaking about earlier, that's why you can see somebody come over here from India or living in India and see the things that are being portrayed here in Babylon the Great. And they want to leave their country, their own homeland, and leave their customs to come over here to pursue after what America presents. You know, they want to leave India and come over here and celebrate Thanksgiving. Leave India and come over here, or leave Iraq and come over here and want to celebrate Christmas, Valentine's. You know, they want to come over here and have orgies. You know, they want to come over here and go to football games. An irresistible influence, just like we were speaking about earlier. Bear with me right quick. Let me pull this off the screen. Talking about an irresistible flavor that America presents that they cannot resist. You know, witchcraft for one, this American flag, all of these things. Let me go back. Where they believe that it's the land of the free, the land of opportunity, where everybody's created equal. It's the home of the brave. You know, the land of opportunity. That's why everybody's flocking over here from their own country. They leaving the customs of their own people, of their own nation, to come over here to be wicked as hell. Because of the whoredoms and the fascination, the influence that America presents, or that Babylon presents, you know. They quick to run over here for that and leave their own customs. Blows my mind sometimes. All right. But witchcraft, like I said, an irresistible influence of fascination. Go ahead, King.
I got a precept I want to add to that. That's in 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 23.
Hold that. I'm coming back to that.
Okay. All right.
All right. And like I was speaking about earlier, that term, like the magician be doing, is called sleight of hand. This is the same thing that Esau does, that Babylon does. Sleight of hand. These is where they try to manipulate you, where they try to trick the eye. You heard that saying, the hand is quicker than the eye. When they doing these magic card tricks, or they doing they stand-up shows, doing tricks and magic shows in front of the people, they call it sleight of hand. A skillful deception. That's what a sleight of hand is. Skillful deception. Think about that. This is exactly what these people do. And that term actually goes a little bit further into what they do in today's society, which is called social engineering. Let me bring that out right quick. This is a term that a lot of our people may or may not have heard, but we're going to go into it nonetheless. All right.
Who their job was social engineering. I had never heard this term prior to 2017.
And what is that thing?
Are you familiar with this term?
Yeah.
Okay, so for people who aren't familiar, in case they're in the audience,
put it up a little bit, brother.
That's how it go.
Human mind is pliable, right? Especially groups of people. You tend to want to agree with a crowd. You want to agree with the majority. Social engineering is simply helping you to do that. So social engineering can be very benign. It can be the way a street sign is placed, or the way you funnel traffic to make sure that people don't walk into the street and get themselves killed. And it can be as nefarious as hiring crowds to protest or to cheer for certain things, or to put crowds in place on certain TV shows to champion certain things. And, I talked to.
So what he was going into, he was saying that social engineering is basically something that is put in place to steer or engineer society, from something as simple as to where street signs are placed, to them paying people to riot, to protest, or putting crowds in the background on your favorite TV shows back in the day. Paying people to sit in the crowd and laugh while they recording the show being recorded. That will make you, in turn, when you hear the crowd laugh, make you laugh because you hear the crowd laugh. But they will have a crowd in the background behind the camera, and they have a sign above the crowd, telling them when to clap, when to laugh. Social engineering, excuse me. And these are the same thing that go on today in today's society. You don't think that they plan the educational system, which is why you don't hear anything about Israelites in the school system or in the church? That's social engineering. Where they tell you how to be an employee rather than how to be a business owner. That's social engineering. Teaching you how to think, what to think, when to think. Social engineering. And I'm going to show you another clip right quick to furthermore explain what I'm speaking about. This goes into the multitude of whoredoms and the witchcrafts that Babylon the Great actually exposes or conducts. I put it that way. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is it.
Despite what you might be thinking, these two circles are not equal. I repeat, these two.
Pay attention to what he's saying and how he manipulates the class.
Despite what you might be thinking, these two circles are not equal. I repeat, these two circles are not equal. One is, in fact, larger than the other. What I need you to do is determine which one that is. So, please raise your hand if you believe the blue circle is larger than the red. All right. Please raise your hand if you believe the red circle is larger than the blue. All right, very good. Now, before I said anything about these two circles, what was your first instinct? Equal, right? Because they look equal. And the reason why they look equal is because, in fact, they are equal. These two circles are identical. Yet I got just about every one of you to raise your hand and say that they're not. So what did we learn? That you can be manipulated like that to believe in something that goes against your natural instincts. Just imagine as a child, you're taught that the blue circle is larger than the red. If you say it enough times, you convince yourself that's the truth. If you're told the lie enough times, it becomes part of your reality. And if enough people are taught that lie, that the blue circle is larger than the red, well, now it becomes part of the culture. And if that culture then passes that misinformation along to the next generation, well, now it becomes tradition. Despite what you...
Now it becomes tradition. Is this not what's going on in today's society right now? Think about that. They told us that Yahawahshi, Christ, was a so-called white man. Told it over and over and over again, and the generation just kept pushing, kept believing in it. Now it's embedded in everybody's mindset. The same way that they told us that the earth was round like a globe, like a bouncing ball, with no proof, no facts, but everybody believes that the earth is a globe spinning around the sun. We ask no questions. But just like that man did in the beginning of this video, he came in there and they seen 2 dots, 2 circles on the screen. And he changed the narrative just by asking a question. Who believes that this one is bigger than the other one? Changed the narrative that fast. And he had everybody in that classroom, because I believe that's either a high school class or a college class. But he had everybody in there change their mind, snap of a finger, to believe in what he said, because he stood up there as a so-called professor or teacher. And this is exactly what Esau has done with us and with these other nations, because he is Lucifer, the light bearer, the one who's supposed to have all the knowledge. And whenever they speak, our people shut the hell up and listen and follow behind them blindly as if they got the clue or got the answer, excuse me. When the Lord said they are the base of all things, or the base of man, meaning they are the weakest at everything. But yet and still we follow behind them because they are in charge. They ruling right now because we, as the strongest, don't want to adhere to the Lord. So he put the base over us to rule over us, and now we listen to these individuals. And all they do is recycle and recycle more and more lies, and we still continue to believe in them. We believe that they have the answer, so we go to the doctor to hear them. When you watch this video I got later on, you might want to reconsider your thought process, because even they know that it's a bunch of foolishness, a bunch of lies. But they have manipulated the world and society to believing in them. Social engineering at its finest. Small example, just looking at 2 circles on a screen, but he changed everybody's mindset in less than 5 minutes to believe in what he put out there, when their actual eyes seen it and believed it to be equal. He told them otherwise. Think about that.
On the answer,
right. Go ahead, King.
That's in the medical industry. They use kind of the same concept. They use a technique called a placebo effect, where you might have one particular thing that might be the actual remedy, and then they might have another thing that they say is the actual remedy, but it's actually a false version or a reduced version of what the other one is. And the one that they put forth out in the public is the false one. But they tell everybody it's the real one, and when everybody takes it, they think whatever's wrong with them made them feel better.
Right.
Right.
That's right. All right. So let's go where you were trying to go earlier, King. 1 Samuel 15:23.
Okay. Get to that.
1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 23. This is why we must be mindful of the things that Esau or Babylon the Great pushes out or promotes to society, because they always have a hidden agenda. It's never truthful. And they always have, like I said, an underhanded or a hidden agenda, an ulterior motive with the things that they present. And it's all for the sake of money. Not for your benefit, but for the sake of money and power, rulership. Bring that out, King.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. And
read that one more time.
For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he have also rejected thee from being king.
So it's telling you rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. When we rebel against the words of the Lord, when we rebel against godly counsel, when we are stubborn, that is iniquity and idolatry. When we want to believe in our enemies, that's idolatry. It's rebellion. That's sin. The Lord said, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord. Think about that. When we rebel against the words of the Lord, when we don't trust in the Lord, when we don't have faith in the Lord and what he has created, put in place for us, we going off in sin, trusting the enemy. And the enemy ain't going to tell you what's going on, how to solve it, how to push forward, none of that. Think about that. That's rebellion. That's what they teach here in society. Through this social engineering, they teach rebellion. What do they teach the other nations? Rebellion. What do they teach the Israelites? Rebellion. And we follow blindly behind it without asking any questions. We just see them in the spotlight and, hey, they got a degree. Hey, they on top. They got the white lab coat. Hey, they must know what they talking about. They went to school for 10 years. They went to school 10 years learning lies. Damn. Rebellion is as sin of witchcraft. That's why when we follow what they present to us, we don't get better. And I'm going to show you that in a minute, though. But let's go to Psalms chapter 137 right quick.
Can I add something to that?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
That's also with that's the power of the paganisms that's presented to us, that's indoctrinated us from when we're young. So when we deal with things like the worldly holidays, like Christmas and Easter and celebrating birthdays and everything, things that we were told was okay to do from when we were a baby. Once we come into a truth to find out that that's not what we're supposed to be doing, a lot of people tend to rationalize, and they have all these good memories built up around those days to where they second guess whether or not they should be actually doing the right thing. And they continue it's a rebellion.
Hey, second guessing wicked thoughts. Hey. Wow. Let's go to Psalms chapter 137, verse 7 right quick. We're going to read 7 and verse 8.
All right. Book of Psalms chapter 137, verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
So the Lord said, remember the children of Edom. Edom is a so-called white man today. I know a lot of our brothers and sisters, they don't want to admit to that, just like the brother was saying. They want to look back on past memories when they Esau gave them a Christmas gift, paid for their lunch, might even gave him a job, picked them up on the side of the road. Nah, Edom ain't so-called white man. Hey, just because you don't believe don't make the word of the Lord void or not true. You know. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Meaning, in the day when we was being taken over, they was out there saying, burn it down to the ground. Saying, remember that, Lord. Read on.
Verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be, that reward of thee as thou hast served us.
So the Lord called Edom the daughter of Babylon. Ancient Babylon is gone and beyond. But he's saying Edom is the daughter of Babylon. Everything that they would represent would come from Babylon in times of old. Everything that they did to us as a nation of people, Edom does today to us and to this world. So Edom is considered old daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed. Letting you know they will be destroyed. Regardless of how we feel, what we think, the words of the Lord will be or shall be true, will happen. Happy shall he be that reward of thee, meaning Babylon, Edom, reward of thee as thou hast served us. You ain't talking about the rest of the word, talking about how they served us. They gonna get their just due. They gonna get their reward, their recompense for all the wickedness that they did to us as a nation. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone. So that's going to happen to them as well. All right. From there, let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 47. Book of Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. And we're going to read 1 through 13. Book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
So once again, we're going into talking about Edom, the daughter of Babylon. The Lord saying, hey, you're going to sit down. You know, you ain't no more will you be called tender and delicate as they present themselves. Read.
Verse 2. Take the millstone and grind meal. Take the millstone and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the river.
Read.
Verse 3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
Is that not the same thing that we just read in the beginning of the class in the book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 4? Or verse 5, where the Lord said he gonna basically uncover. Let me go find that right quick. The Lord said he gonna uncover their skirt, lift their skirt up. Nahum chapter 3, verse 5 says, Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. So the Lord is telling Babylon, Edom, the nakedness that you have presented shall be uncovered. All the wickedness you trying to hide, it shall be uncovered. Just like we bringing it out today. Thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man. The Lord ain't coming back to greet them with a hug, a smile, with a handshake. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Great to see you. Good morning. No, he ain't coming with that. He coming to thrash Edom.
That's right.
To redeem his people. Read on, King.
Verse 4. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Verse 5. Right. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms.
The Lady of Kingdoms. Read on.
Verse 6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. And thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
You see that? The Lord said, I was wroth with my people. Why? Because we rebelled against the Lord. Rebellion is sin. We rebelled against the Lord. So the Lord was angry with his people. He said, I have polluted my inheritance. Israel is the Lord's inheritance. And I have given them into thine hand. We were given into Babylon's hand, into Edom's hand for our rebellion. And it said, thou didst show them no mercy. The Lord is full of mercy, but Edom showed us no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou verily heavily laid thy yoke. So even of the old of our people, the ancient, the mature of our folks, they laid a heavy yoke. They didn't give a damn about how old or how young we were. Read on.
Verse 7. And thou said, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither did it remember the latter end of it.
Just like we brought out earlier, they made no change, so they have no fear of the Lord. Talking about, I'm going to be a lady forever. They're going to be refined. They're going to be beautiful. They're going to be on top forever. No. Read.
Verse 8. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasure, that dwelleth carelessly, they said in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children.
That's how America operates. They prideful. You know what I'm saying? They go around, even in the so-called sports world, they prideful as hell. But as a country, as a system, as a whole, they are very prideful. proud of everything. That's why we need to remove that word from our vocabulary. When we tell our kids, I'm proud of you, you know, that's a form of pride. You know, I'm proud of you. Why don't you take some pride in what you do? No, the Lord ain't never say I'm proud of Christ or Yahawahshi. He said, this is my son in whom I am well pleased. That's what we should be telling our kids, telling our spouses, telling one another how pleased we are. I'm excited to see you doing great, brother, sister. Now I'm proud of you. Take pride in that. No, that's what Esau does. They are very prideful, and they have taught us to be proud. That's why you got proud boys. You know, therefore, hear now this, that thou art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. That's what they think. Can't nobody touch them. We got the #1 military. Everybody has to bring their product over to the States to sell it to make money. You know, everybody wants to come over here and live. Hey, we the shining example as to what the world should be. I am, ain't nobody beside me. That's the mindset of the America as a whole. Read on.
Verse 9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment and one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in the perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments.
Is that not the same thing that we read in Nahum chapter 3, verse 4? The multitude of thy sorceries and for thy great abundance of thine enchantments. The multitude of your whoredoms and your witchcraft, your enchantments. All of these things are going to come upon Babylon because of the things that they do. Why? Read on.
Verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me.
You see it? They trust in their wickedness. They trust in their science, their astrology, their stargazing, their marine biology. What else? Their engineering, their physics. Anything you think, they trust in it. They don't trust in the Lord. They trust in themselves. And then they wickedness and their laws that they put in place, they say, hey, nobody sees me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. Thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. Read.
Verse 11. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence is risen. And mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know.
You see that? Therefore shall evil come upon thee. It ain't say it might. Well, if I feel like it, I might put evil on you. I might judge you. No, the Lord said, therefore shall evil come upon thee, Babylon. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. Because they so prideful, they ain't gonna know where it's coming from. They so busy being fixated on what they trying to do, they ain't paying attention to what's coming. Because they don't believe in the Lord. They ain't got no faith. That goes back to them whoredoms and to their harlotry. Unfaithfulness. Read on.
Verse 12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, it so be thou mayest prevail.
So the Lord telling them, since you trust in it so much, stand now with thine enchantments, you know, with your science, with your science labs, with your military, your sorceries. Stand with that. Let's see if that's going to be able to deliver you from what I got cooking for you. You know, read verse 13.
Verse 13. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologer, the stargazer, and the monthly prognosis
Prognosticators.
Prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee.
You see that? The Lord said, you got so much going on. Well, maybe your astrologers, you know, the ones who see the different constellations in the sky, the ones who so-called see the other planets, the stargazers, seeing shooting stars, your monthly prognosticator that goes into your fortune tellers, your forecasters, you know, the ones that be telling you it's gonna rain tomorrow and it'll be 100 degrees outside, the sun shining. You know, the ones that's telling you if they see the shadow of the groundhog, it's gonna be 6 more weeks of winter. Or that so-and-so gonna win the game by 12 points. Go to your prognosticators and see if they gonna save you. You know, go to your Simpsons and see if they gonna predict the future on what I got coming. You know, Babylon gonna get this judgment, whether we want to accept it or not, whether they accept it or not. The Lord has spoken it, hey, it's coming. You know, let's go to the book of Obadiah chapter 1. The book of Obadiah. The Lord said
He's going to bring that 14th verse out.
You can.
All right. Verse 14. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it.
So when we go to Obadiah, it's going to actually explain them being that stubble. And we would be that fire that was going to burn them. All right. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. We're going to start at verse 1.
This is the book of Obadiah. Verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saying Yahawah concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahawah, and ambassador is sent amongst the brethren. It's sent amongst the heathen. So like, arise ye and let us rise over against her in battle.
All right. So this is going into talking about Edom again. All right. Jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8.
Nah, you know what? Read verse 3 right quick.
Verse 3.
Keep reading. I just put it that way. Keep reading.
Okay, verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
The Lord said he made Edom small among the heathen. Small among the heathen. And that they are greatly despised. But what have they done through their lies and witchcrafts and whoredoms? They have told everybody that they are the majority and that everybody loves them. But on the contrary, they are small among the heathen and they are greatly despised. Read on.
The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, and thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
That is the mindset of Esau. That's why they don't care about what they do, how they say it, and what they do. They prideful. And it has deceived them, those that dwell in the clefts of the rock. Now that goes back to the Edomites living in the clefts of the rocks, going back to the Caucasus Mountains in Georgia, Russia. He said, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down? These are the same individuals that love to live in skyscrapers and high buildings. And that's all around the world. But they say in their heart, who shall bring me down? Because they're in a high position right now. CEOs, presidents, they saying, who gonna bring me down? Look at the way Trump moved. Who gonna bring me down? Read.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest amongst the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahawah.
So this individual exalts himself to be high, just like an eagle, to be strong, just like an eagle. That's why the United States and everybody that had us in captivity throughout the years, throughout history, has always exalted themselves as eagles. And this individual has exalted himself to put a nest among the stars. That's why he's constantly flying his spacecrafts, his planes above the clouds, got his satellites in the sky. You know, he had made a nest among the stars. But the Lord said, I'm going to bring you down. All right. Jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahawah, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
Read.
And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be
Demon.
dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
So regardless what we think, brothers and sisters, Esau will be cut off by slaughter. Read.
Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Now, what is the one thing that we have been reading constantly? That shame would be put upon Edom against Babylon. The violence against thy brother Jacob, that's us, the 12 tribes of Israel. Our forefather's name is Jacob. For the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover Esau, Edom, Idumea, Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. Shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. That's why they hate to see us out teaching on the highways and byways, because we exposing them, bringing out the shame. Why they trying to play innocent, trying to play what's the guy name? Fabio, you know, Mr. Romantic, you know, we out there exposing them, airing out their dirty laundry. The Lord is lifting their skirt, showing them how they don't know how to wipe, how they don't know how to clean. You know what I'm saying? We exposing them, showing the violence against our people. They hate to see that thing. Shame shall cover thee. Read on.
Verse 11. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away his captive forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them.
You see that? This is going back into what we were reading earlier in Psalms 137, when it was saying, remember the children of Edom, how they were standing there saying, raise it to the foundation thereof, meaning burn our land down to the ground, burn it, burn it. Lord said, you over there cheering. You was just like one of them. Read.
But thou, verse 12, but thou shouldst not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldst thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
You see how the Lord keeps saying that they are proud constantly? When you read throughout the scriptures, you read, it's so many scriptures how the Lord hates pride and proud. That's why we need to remove that saying that from our vocabulary. But the Lord said, hey, you shouldn't have looked upon your brother with proudly rejoicing over the fact that they were being destroyed. You shouldn't have did that. Read on.
Verse 13. Thou shouldst not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldst not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
Read.
Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
Read.
For the day of the The day of Yahawah is near upon all the heathens. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
So they're going to get their just due. Understand that. You know what I'm saying? So the shame was going to cover them. Shame, constantly. Shame, 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 shame. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah right quick, chapter 51. Jeremiah chapter 51. Babylon got to get it. And you brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, you cannot be trying to live comfortable here. What are you trying to leave behind? Hey, the Lord said this place gonna be destroyed. They're gonna get theirs. Why are we trying to live deliciously here? We can't. Ain't nothing here for Israelite. It ain't nothing but pain and anguish and lies. Why are we trying to live comfortable here in this land? We need to be working hard to get the hell up out of here, knowing that the things that the Lord has spoken shall come true. That should be our mindset day in and day out. Not trying to live comfortable in this wicked society. All right, Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 1.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 1. Thus said the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, and destroying wind.
The Lord said, I'm going to raise up against Babylon. Jump down to verse 6.
All right, verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
So he's telling us, flee out of the midst of Babylon. Not literally get up and leave the country, but flee out of the ways of Babylon. You know, stop breaking the Sabbath. Stop eating abominable foods. Stop sleeping around and being a whore. Love yourself. Love the Lord. Keep the commandments. Read.
Verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad.
See that Babylon, America, has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that he done gave a sip to every other nation, even our own, where they drunk, staggering, can't see the forest for the trees. Therefore they mad. All right, jump to verse 11.
Verse 11. Make bright the arrows. Gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple.
So the Medes is talking about Iran and Iraq over in that area. He raising them up. You see it going on right now. They getting ready to start, they already attacking Israel, but it's going to get to a point where they're going to start bombing and dumping on America as well. Verse 12, the dragons of Arabia. That's what it's called when you read 2nd Ezra. But go ahead.
Verse 12, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make thee watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes. For the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon.
So the Lord is telling us to set up the standard. The standard as an Israelite is to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and walk therein. Don't be fearful. Don't be afraid of what these other nations might think or do. If they consider themselves to be wolves or not. Hey, we supposed to set up the standard and stand on that. Like they say in the world today, stand on business. We supposed to stand on this standard, stand on these commandments. 10 toes down for the word of the Lord, day in and day out. Make the watch strong. Make our people aware of what's going on. Make it strong. Build their mindsets up. Build the households up. Set up the watchmen. Let our people know what's going on, day in and day out. Prepare for the ambushes by reading the scriptures. Letting our people know what's coming in the future. Letting them know the mindset of our enemies. Because the word of the Lord describes and breaks it all down. This is how we prepare for the ambushes. We pay attention. We keep our heads up out of the palms of our hand and watch and see what's going on. We do a diligent research to see what they plotting and planning on. We pay attention. We keep our ear to the street, preparing for the ambushes. For the Lord had both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. So it ain't nothing that we can do, even if we wanted to. Babylon is going down. Understand that, Israel. All right, read 13.
Verse 13. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasure, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness.
See that? Who is that dwelleth upon many waters? The whore of Babylon. You see that? The mistress of witchcrafts. The well-favored harlot is the woman that dwelleth upon many waters. What are those waters again? The seas, the peoples, the nations, the tongues. Understand that. From there, let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 18. Book of Revelation, chapter 18. And we're going to start at verse 1.
Revelations 18:1. And after
We almost out of here, Israel. Got a few more precepts.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory.
Read.
And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great is fallen. Is fallen and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
So why our people are striving to live and try to rejoice in this land, we need to realize one thing. Babylon is going to fall. It is going to fall, whether we like it or not. And at the same time, it has become the habitation of devils and the hold of every foul spirit. So everything that is wicked as hell that you could possibly think of is going on in this land throughout this system. Every foul spirit is a habitation of devils. That's all you see here. I just seen an article the other day on Newsbreak where a man decapitated his own parents and killed the dog. And then he was singing a song talking about what love got to do with it by Tina Turner. His parents in their 70s, he decapitated both of them. I seen the other day when a man killed his mom because she didn't want to let him spend the night. She in her 70s. This has become a habitation of devils, and it has taken the hold of every foul spirit. It ain't say some of them. It say every foul spirit is living and dwelling in this land. So why in the hell are we trying to dwell here? Why are we trying to make a living here? Why are we trying to be successful in a land that's full of wickedness and devils? We need to be striving hard and working hard to get the hell up out of here, to get back home. But we say to hell with that. We're going to rebel against what the Lord said. We're going to live here comfortably, live deliciously here in this wicked land. The harlot, the great harlot. Read on.
Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
You see that? That's what we all working toward. We trying to live with the riches through the abundance of her delicacies. I want a nice fat bank account. I want all the nice cars. I want all the vacations. I want all the jewelry. Just like these other nations, they have been drunken with the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So all they strive to do now is to go try to get the bag. Is that not the mindset of our people? Keep chasing that carrot at the end of the rope or at the end of that stick. The so-called call yourself a man or a woman when you got the bag, you have been drunken by the wine of wrath of her fornication. Think about that. Read on.
Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
See that? Once again, just like we read in Jeremiah, we read in Revelation. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let the matter be established. You got a witness in the Old Testament and in the New saying the same thing. Come out of the ways of Babylon. Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins and that you receive not of her plagues. Come out of the ways of Babylon of America so you don't receive that judgment that's coming. Read.
Verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities.
Read.
Reward her even as she reward you, and double unto her double according to her work. In the cup which she hath filled to her double.
So Edom, Esau, Idumea, they're going to get double recompense or reward for what they did to us. That's what the Lord said. This ain't my words. This is words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord. Read.
Verse 7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
Read.
Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her.
So that judgment gonna come quick to Babylon. It's gonna come quick. Death, mourning, famine, and she will be burned with fire. Burned with fire. That's why all these countries, all these kings of the other nation, everybody got them nuclear weapons, them nuclear missiles. That's how she gonna be burned. Read.
And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Read.
Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
1 hour, they're gonna get that judgment. It ain't gonna take years, hundreds of years. 1 hour. Because if you done any type of research on the impact of a nuclear missile, it destroys for 50 to 100 miles, and the damage that it does lasts for years. So it ain't gonna take hundreds of years for Babylon to go down. Nah. Now you might see a decline in the economy over a few years, the famine a few years, but when them missiles get to dropping, hey, it's a wrap. It only gonna take 1 hour. And those standing afar off, they're gonna be standing off saying, damn, alas, at last, that great city Babylon has finally fallen. Read.
And the merchants, verse 11, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more.
They're going to be weeping and crying because they ain't going to be able to make no money no more. Because America is where they all ship their product to make money. Read. You know what? Jump down to, let's see. Jump down to verse 23. For time purposes.
Verse 23.
Go to 24, 23, excuse me. Now I had it right the first time.
Verse 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridge of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
So by the sorceries that America presents, everybody was being deceived, lied to, you know, but they ain't gonna hear the voice of the Lord or the voice of the Israelites no more. Read.
Verse 24. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
All right. So the prophets or the saints are the Israelites. In this system in America, all around the world, our blood was shed to build up these kingdoms. We were the ones building it and being killed at the same time. The saints are the Israelites, according to Psalms 148, verse 14. Understand that. All right. So, what time is it? All right. I'm going to show this quick video right quick. You know what? Go to Habakkuk right quick, chapter 2. Or Habakkuk, however you pronounce.
Chapter 2.
Yes, sir. Start at verse 4.
All right. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith.
So Esau, Edom, Idumea, Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, the soul of him is not upright in him, but the just, meaning the Israelites, shall live by faith. Read.
Verse 5. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepers at home, who enlarge his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
You see that? So this man transgressed. I mean, he sinned by the wine, the doctrine that he lived by. He is a proud man. He don't stay at home, and his desire is just like hell, and death follow him, that you read about in Revelation as well. So he has gathered all nations unto him. All right, jump to verse 12.
Okay. Verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity.
So the Lord said, woe, meaning destruction to him that buildeth a town, a city, a country with blood, and establish a city by iniquity. Here we are today in modern times, saving up, working hard to take trips to a place that's called Sin City. The Lord said, woe, destruction to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city in sin, by sin, iniquity. That's what iniquity is, sin. Destruction is coming. All right. Jump down to verse 15.
Verse 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbors drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
This is what they have done. They gave everybody else the bottle, getting them drunk. Hey, take another shot. Take another shot. Got them drunk. Now they making fun of them, sitting back laughing at them while they in sin. Read.
Verse 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory.
All right. So this particular kingdom, this system that we live in, they feel with shame for their glory. All the wickedness that they have done, it is shame to them, but it has got them to a status of glory. Because they killed our people off, used our people to build up their economy, That's how they live in a glorious status right now. Everything that they have done, we have been the building blocks for it. Whether it was trying to so-called go to the moon, they needed us to get there. Anything they wanted to do, they needed us to get there. But when they did it, they stole our identity. They stole our inventions, our thoughts. They stole everything to receive their glory. They ain't come up with nothing. Everything was developed by us. They stole it from us and they took the credit for it. That is the shame for glory, because they were not capable of developing it themselves. So they stole it. That's their mentality, to steal and lie and destroy. Steal, kill, and destroy. All right. Now, it said that they also took all nations unto them. What did they do when they got these nations under them? Let's show this video right quick. All right. Bear with me. Where is it? All right.
Countries or societies. Here are my 12 rules from personal experience of living in 2 dictatorships. Number 1, always distract and isolate people so that they don't build strong communities, but stay on their couch. Divide and conquer is easiest with couch potatoes. Number 2, make sure that you destroy all spiritual connections and heritage. It undermines your power. People should only live in the here and now, every fucking day. Number 3, then destroy or vilify all knowledge, like the healing power of nature, and only
the holistic way of living. Destroy that and come with the pharmaceutical.
Offer pharmaceuticals that can be patented and produced at scale with minimum 20% profit margin. Number 4, make sure that your products create harmful side effects.
Make sure that your products make harmful side effects. That's why any of their so-called remedies or medicines always got a side effect to it, so that they can make more money off of it. But we want to trust in them, though. This is a Russian mafia dude blowing the whistle on how they move and control the masses. Let me run that back a little bit.
Sure that your products create harmful side effects that need to be treated. It is a good business model. Money needs to be flowing for your power to persist. Number 5, use addictive substances like alcohol to numb the people and keep them hooked.
You see what they got in their hand. He's talking about alcohol, but they got phones in their hand. Give them something to numb them. That's why we see death on a daily basis, and we just keep scrolling by it. We have been numbed to death, to tragedy.
Addictions are the most elegant tools for mass control. Number 6, keep the masses busy with soul-crushing work that makes both parents work full-time, so that there is no time for questions to the system.
You see that right there? That is exactly what's going on in society today. Keep us busy, so busy we ain't got time to ask questions. We ain't got time to think. All we do is work and sleep. That's their plan. That is their plan. So we ain't got no time to question what they're doing.
Or raise their own children.
Or raise
Number
our
7,
own kids.
Then make the children rebel against their parents. They are the easiest to manipulate. Always divide and conquer.
They said make the kids rebel against the parents. They are the easiest to manipulate. They have done the research. All we got to do is look into it. They have already done research that say they can put a phone in a child's hand at 2 years old. So they programming a child from 2 years old all the way up. to rebel against the parent. And the parent too busy going to work, they ain't got time to teach them.
Number 8, raise the children in your own institutions and give them whatever doctrine you want them to believe. Number 9, erase all old knowledge and frame of reference by disgracing the old and traditional. The old is worthless. Only the new is good. And the new, only you provide. Number 10, make it hard and expensive for people to cultivate their own land. Do not let people become independent and self-sustainable. It is dangerous.
You see that? Keep them too busy to think. Keep them dependent on you where they can't do any type of thinking and they don't know how to farm, hunt, do anything to provide for themselves. When you do these things, they realize that you are becoming dangerous. They can't control you. This is why, as Reformed Israelite, repentant Israelite, we got to strive to come out of the ways of Babylon. We got to strive to learn and do more each and every day that we got an opportunity to be here. Don't just take it for granted and just say to hell with them, I ain't got time. Hey, learn as much as you can every day. Learn something new every day that's going to help build yourself and your family and your nation of people. Don't just be getting caught up in chasing money every damn day. Chase this knowledge. That's what the Lord say. If in all things, seek wisdom, seek knowledge, get understanding. How to grow your own food. What foods you can eat in the wild. Fruits and berries. How to fish. How to clean the fish. How to cook. How to clean water. How to preserve food. We need to know how to do these things because they plotting against us to make sure that we don't.
Number 11, always encourage the people to try new technology, GPS, gadget, smartware. The more technology they use, the more intuitive skills they lose.
See that? Encourage them to go get a new iPhone, the newest this, the newest that. Teach them to trust in technology because when they keep doing these things, they learn or they lose valuable skills. Teach them to trust in the microwave. Buy microwavable things, therefore they learn how not to cook. This is what they pushing. Give them the latest phone so they don't know how to read. They ain't got the patience to read. They ain't got the mindset to want to push themselves. They just want everybody to do it for them.
Always work in your favor, my friend. Number 12, centralize your power and introduce effective mass technology like internet, electric cars, currency, or social media platforms that you can switch off with one button. I have lived in 2 different socialist systems, Soviet Union and East Germany, so I know what I'm talking about. People lost their freedom and honor completely. Don't let it happen to you.
You see that? Don't let them control the masses. Control your household. You know, knowing what's going on. Everything that he's speaking is all biblical. We as repentant Israelites, we got to know that that's the mindset of our enemies. They are hell-bent on keeping us dumbed down and blinded to what's going on. And we got to keep pushing and learning and building every day on our way back to the kingdom. All right. And once again, what they're doing is a form of witchcraft, whoredom. All right. So for the time purposes, we're going to skip a few precepts. Let's go to the book of Acts right quick. Let's go to the book of Acts right quick. Acts chapter 13.
The book of Acts chapter 13.
We're going to start at verse 6.
Verse 6. And when they had gone through the isles of Paphos, they found a certain sorcerer, a false prophet, a Jew, whose name was Bar Jesus.
But Jesus. Yeah. You ever heard that phrase?
But Jesus. Okay.
I'm scared the bejesus out of me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Read that one more time.
Said, and when they had gone through the Isle of Paphos, they found a certain sorcerer, a false prophet, a Jew, whose name was Jesus.
All right, so this was Paul on a journey. All right, read.
Verse 7, which was with the deputy of the council, of the country, Sergius Paulus, a prudent man who called for Barnabas and Saul and desired to hear the word of Yahawah.
Now, Saul is the same person as Paul. Read.
But
verse 8.
Verse 8. But Elymas, the sorcerer, for so is his name by interpretation, withstood them, seeking to turn away the deputy from the faith.
So Elymas or Bar Jesus, he was trying to detour Paul and them from speaking the truth. He didn't want that deputy, that leader, to be in the faith. Read.
Then Saul, who is also called Paul, filled with the Holy Ghost, set his eyes on him.
So Paul cut his eyes on this guy. He's looking at him like, I know damn well this nigga ain't trying to do this. Read.
And said, O full of all subtlety and all mischief, thou child of the devil, thou enemy of all righteousness, wilt thou not cease to pervert the right ways of the Lord?
You see, they called him a child of the devil, even though he was a Jew. He was an Israelite. He was wicked as hell. He was a sorcerer, just like a lot of our brothers and sisters today, sorcerers, witches, trying to stop, or they are enemies of all righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Trying to pervert the way of the Lord. Read.
And now behold, the hand of the Lord is upon thee, and thou shalt be blind, not seeing the sun for a season. And immediately there fell on him a mist and a darkness, and he went about seeking some to lead him by the hand.
So Paul, looking at this brother, like, I can't believe you doing this, man. Why are you out here trying to detour our people from walking in the way? So as soon as he said these things, he said, behold, thou shalt be blind. And immediately that man went blind, man. And he walking around trying to get somebody to hold a hand. Hey, lead me over here, lead me over there. Read.
Verse 12. Then the deputy, when he saw what was done, believing, being astonished at the doctrine of the Lord.
So when this deputy, man, this leader seen this, he believed off top. There wasn't no more questions. Wasn't nothing else that could be said. When he seen that, he believed. He was astonished, mind blown. What they say, flabbergasted. I can't believe I just seen it. This man was a so-called sorcerer. Paul came over speaking the words of the Lord with the Spirit on and blinded this man. I'm with Paul. You know what I'm saying? All right. So from there, let's go to Sirach, chapter 3, verse 24. We almost out of here, Israel. Sirach, chapter 3, verse 24.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 3, verse 24. For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion hath overthrown their judgment.
So many are deceived, lied to by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. Read verse 28.
Verse 28. In the punishment of the proud, there is no remedy, for the plant of wickedness have taken root in him.
So we understand that there is no remedy for the punishment that is going to be put upon the proud. For the plant of wickedness have taken root in him. So it ain't nothing that we can do for a wicked individual. You know what I'm saying? We can try to give them pills like they do in the hospital, you know, teas, you know, change up your diet. Hey, in the punishment of the proud, there is no remedy. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. The Lord said it, you know. So there's no remedy for the punishment that's going to happen to the wicked, especially Esau, Edom, or the daughter of Babylon. As much as our people love them, even though they have done us wrong throughout time, it ain't no remedy for that. They gonna get theirs.
Hey, like
Right?
scripts say, they fitted for destruction. Can't do nothing about
That's
it.
right. That's right. All right. Go to Jeremiah 51 right quick. I got two more scripts. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 19.
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name.
Once again, making reference to our brothers and sisters, showing you through the scriptures that Israel is the inheritance of the Lord. Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Read.
Verse 20. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee I will break in pieces the nations, and with thee I will destroy kingdoms.
You see that? Israel is a battle axe, the weapons of war, used by the Most High to break these nations in pieces. That's what we got to look forward to, Israel. We are the battle axe of the Lord. We're going to break these nations down, all right? Let's go to verse 37.
Verse 37. And Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, an astonishment, and an hissing without an inhabitant.
So Babylon going to be destroyed to a point where it ain't going to be nobody living this way, all right? Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 3. Book of 2 Peter chapter 3. We're going to start at verse 9.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. Yahawah is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
So the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, meaning his prophecies, the words that he speaks. Even though they ain't came to pass, all of them, that don't mean they ain't gonna happen. He ain't slack concerning his promise.
Right.
But he is long suffering, meaning merciful toward us. Not everybody, but toward us. Because he don't want us to perish, but that we should come to repentance. Read on.
But the day of Yahawah shall come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up.
So when the Lord come back and redeem his people, guess what's coming? Thermonuclear warfare, World War III. You know what I'm saying? A great noise with the elements where they gonna melt with fervent heat. It ain't nothing that we can do to create no fervent heat. Esau got them type weapons. The other nations got these type weapons, the nuclear weapons. And it said the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. That's what he said. He gonna judge Babylon with fire. With the elements, meaning I'm talking about the H2O gonna be burnt up. The elements will be burnt up. The mercury, your zinc, all that gonna be burnt up. Read.
Verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, What manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
So knowing that this is coming, we as Israelites, we have to have our minds together. And he's asking the question right there: what ought ye, or what manner of persons ought ye to be? Holy conversation, godliness. Read.
Looking for and hasting until the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
Meaning we need to be looking for the salvation of the Lord when this day comes. Because it ain't nothing that we can do. We ain't got no underground bunkers. We ain't got nothing that can withstand these things when them bombs start dropping. Read.
Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness.
That's New Jerusalem. Read.
Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless.
So, wherefore, beloved, meaning Israel, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent, not slothful, not lazy, not putting it off. Be diligent that ye may be found of him, meaning Yahawahshi in peace, without spot and blameless. Constantly ridding yourself of the ways of this world, removing the thoughts and mindset of Babylon from your spirit. You know, trying to make yourself blameless, removing sin from your spirit. You got to stay diligent day in and day out. Because when that day of destruction actually comes, you want to be found in peace of him. You want to be saved. You don't want to be caught up in the wrath that's coming. You want to be saved, Israel. You know, understand that at all times. So by that, I hope and pray you brothers and sisters learn something through this class. I know it's kind of long, but I pray and hope you you learned something. You took notes, or you can go back and reread, rewatch, whatever it is that you need to do to learn, and understand that you got to continue to push forward. You know, it's been a class on the destruction of the well-favored harlot, which is Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, which is Edom, Esau, Idumea, the mistress of witchcrafts. You know, and I pray you brothers and sisters learn something once again. We want to give our honor, glory, and praise to Yahawah by Hashem Yahawahshi. I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Leonidas.
Brother Ezekiel.
And we are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. Lord willing, you gain something from this class. We pray and hope that you brothers and sisters continue on in the faith, stay strong, and continue to be diligent day in and day out. But on that note, we say shalom, shalom, peace and greetings to you all. And we out.